Hello there everybody, how's it going and how have you been? Welcome back to SpaceChem. To continue in the tradition of this being the series of recording experimentations, you might notice the lack of a certain sound. I don't have my fan stand plugged in. To reiterate why I use it, I am recording on a laptop, and a lot of these games do cause the laptop to heat up just a little bit, and between that and recording, I'm just a little afraid that my laptop might get a bit too warm to be safe, we'll say. So obviously I use the fan stand to keep it cool. But because truly I do find that sound as annoying as I'm sure all of you are, I'm deciding to see if recording without plugging it in is viable or not. Computer's probably going to get a little bit warm, but it should be fine for one video. Now, last time we completed the 2 normal required production levels of Danoph, and we unlocked a special optional level and a defense level. Now, because I want to be mischievous, and because I do remember that completing these levels immediately unlocks the next planet, we're actually going to be doing the optional level first. So we have nitrogen gas, and we have methane, and we have to make ammonia and hydrogen cyanide. I did remember my promise, and I did in fact look up what those hazard diamonds mean. Basically, they are just kind of a shorthand to warn people how dangerous, or I should say more aptly, what properties the chemical has. So red denotes, well, first of all the numbers are on a scale of 0 to 4. 0 being no danger at all, 4 being super crazy dangerous, use all the caution and carefulness you have. Red denotes flammability, basically how readily the substance will catch fire, so water probably ranks a 0, whereas something like gasoline would probably rank about a 2 or a 3 maybe. Blue represents the health hazard, and again 0 would be poses no danger to human health, whereas the higher end 3 and 4 would cause serious detrimental effects, maybe even death within days or hours or perhaps even minutes of exposure without protection. Yellow represents the molecule's reactivity, so basically how readily it will either react to other nearby substances or like explosively decompose or just basically change what it is. Again, 0 is it probably will just sit around. 3 and 4 mean it will rapidly change into something else if exposed to, say, water or air. Probably not heat, because I'm guessing that's under flammability. And finally, the white diamond. That doesn't have a scale. That guy is just there for any special extra warnings that don't really fit into any of the other 3 categories. So the main example I saw would be if there's the letters OX written there, that means that this molecule is very, very good at oxidizing and rusting other compounds, I believe. But basically white is just kind of the spot to put any extra notes and warnings. So there you go. Now you know how to read a hazard diamond. In all seriousness, let's get into the level before I waste too much more time. Let's see. In place swap. Okay. I don't know why they've given us both assembly and disassembly reactors when we have standard reactors which can do both. Like, why would you only use a reactor that can only add bonds, when you've got a reactor that can add and subtract at the same time. Oh, hang on a second. I need to... Oh, there we go. I had a little something stuck in my throat. Okay. This guy's going to be a bit tricky, I can tell. But I have an idea as to what to do. What I'd like to do is take the hydrogen and the carbon from the methane, keep them bonded, and just kind of like pop that out and connect that to one of the nitrogen atoms that comes off of the gas, and then just slot the other nitrogen into the spot where the carbon was and send that out to ammonia. And I think... I think I've already got a basic plan forming in my head. It's going to be very strange looking, I will admit. But I think I can get away with just using 2 standard reactors. What I would like to do is... I guess that didn't really matter, sure. Yeah, just like this. So then the methane radical comes out the top of this, let's just call it the south reactor, while just one little nitrogen atom comes out the bottom of the north reactor. And then the pipes have to cross once again. And, okay. Yeah, so... Alright, this might get a little complicated. I apologize for that, but I think I can get it to work. So, let's see. What I would like to do is... Yeah, let's do this. And I would like blue to actually start things off. There we go. Yeah, so let's... Nah, this will be fine. I was considering moving the bonders over to get them more aligned with where the methane is, but it's good enough. Let's sever all the bonds and just pull out the methane radical. Then ferry this guy over here, put it down to match the note, and I will show you why once I get to that reactor. Now, all that red has to do is grab his nitrogen atom, come down here, hook it to all 3 hydrogens simultaneously, and then just drop it off. Again, misplacing arrows. Now, as I was going to say, the only problem is, how do I want to get these guys timed? I could run it like this and just hope for the best, but what I think I would like to do, which, well, will probably slow things down overall, is have red wheat with his nitrogen there, for blue to hit this spot and confirm that he sent the methane out. So, yeah, that should be fine. And I don't ever have to worry about blue bumping into the nitrogen, so this reactor should be set. Over here, I'm going to be just a little bit sneaky with things. And let's have red start here. Wanted to call in the nitrogen gas. Sever all 3 bonds. And then send the nitrogen that he picks up out to the south reactor. Blue, on the other hand, which will have to wait for red to confirm that he's out of the way. We'll take the other nitrogen atom, come down here. Yeah, grab drop. Triple bond the nitrogen and the carbon together. Pick it back up. And send it out of psi. Okay. I think this will actually work. I think this will work. Let's hit speed 1. Actually, let's hit speed... no, let's stay here at speed 1. Okay, so... yeah, red broke the nitrogen apart. Oh, wait. Hang on. I already spotted an error. I actually have to call in the methane radical before I try bonding the nitrogen to it. Okay. Take 2. Red calls in the nitrogen gas, cuts the 3 bonds, grabs his atom, tells blue to move forward, and that's good. Now down here, blue's already sent the methane radical up, so let's just wait for it to show up. Oop. Hang on, spotted another error. Oop, wrong button. You actually need to put the output command after the drop command, not before. Silly me. Okay. Speed 2, just to get back to where we were. Okay. There's the methane. And... oh shoot, they're fighting with each other now. Okay, basically what happened was that the methane radical, the HC pair, arrived right as the next nitrogen gas came in because of red. And basically what happened is that while red was trying to break the nitrogen gas apart, blue was putting the bonds together on his molecule, which was making the 2 bonders up here put the bonds right back. Okay. So, do I need 2 sinks on this guy? One to make red wait restarting for blue to have put his molecule together? I think that'd be the quickest fix, right? Yeah, red told blue to go forward. There goes the nitrogen, which we'll watch the other reactor in just a second. Okay, there we go. Yeah, now they can't fight with each other. Sweet. And red doesn't have to wait that long for blue to come back around. Awesome. Alright, now, down in this reactor, I will wait to narrate what's going on once this circuit completes. Blue calls in the methane, yanks out the HC pair, and sends it up to the other reactor. And as you probably just saw while I was waiting for things to loop back around to start, Red takes the nitrogen that the other reactor gave him, connects it to all 3 hydrogens, and sends that out. Sweet. So, first challenge level, a little bit tricky, especially if you're not as experienced in this game as I am, but not that difficult either. You can bet that the other optional levels are going to be a fair amount more difficult than this one was. I'm thinking of one in particular that took like maybe several minutes. Very specific number, man. Several minutes to complete. Even at speed 4, it was just a lot of slow process. So without further ado, let's just hit speed 4 and finish off this level. And there we go. Oh, and we finished one of the challenges. I don't know if I mentioned this, but this game has about I think it's a dozen challenges that you can complete. Some of them are, I think there's one for every optional bonus level, basically. And there's one for, and there's several for completing certain levels, I believe, within a specific amount of cycles, so basically building a fast and efficient enough reactor setup. How about I check those after we finish off our first defense level, a most unfortunate malfunction. Defense assignments. Our next and final assignment type are defense assignments. Our goal, and actually I should probably preface this by saying, this is basically a boss fight. I kid you not, this game actually has boss fights. Our goal is to defend the control center, which, whatever the boss is going to be trying to destroy it. And for these defense assignments, there's actually a couple of things that are different than the normal levels. First off, we get these special storage tank structures. These guys, like I pretty much just said, they're only in defense assignments, and they basically act like something crazy, like 50 pipes within a very small contained area. I'm pretty sure that whatever molecules go in come out in the same order, but they're basically a way to kind of create a big stockpile or a reserve of a molecule for when you need it. Because, as with any boss fight, timing is key. And to help us with our timing, we have 4 special commands that, again, are only available in defense assignments. They are triggered by pressing F1, F2, F3, and F4 on your keyboard. And basically what that does is turn them on or off. If they are off, the Waldos will ignore them. If they are on, the Waldos will treat them like a redirect arrow. So this is basically a way to kind of write a bit of manual control into your solution for fighting this boss. Actually, I believe we will have to use these manual controls for this fight, but I don't believe they're always required. 2 other quick changes, if you will pardon me taking a drink. Our progress wheel no longer shows progress towards molecules delivered, but instead is the health of our control center. If the wheel depletes to 0, we lose. And then finally, in place of a health bar, we have an EMF detector, which will appear, I believe, kind of right down here where we draw our reactors from when we're in build mode. And will basically highlight certain things about the boss, and it's up to you to kind of interpret what that means. Some sections might relate to the boss's health, others might relate to whatever it's trying to do. So, as an example, And minor spoiler for another boss, I believe there's one section that if you see it starting to peak, that means that he's preparing to attack. I think it might be the next boss, maybe? I don't know, I'll remember when I see him. But these are a very unique kind of level. They can be quite a bit more challenging than the actual levels, and to be honest, it's really cool that he figured out how to make a boss fight in a game like this. And for any of you that are really interested in the story, don't worry, I saw it. So, here you go. If you're interested, go ahead and pause. If you are not, it is... Completely forgot what I was going to say there because I forgot that the game actually introduces what the boss is. So this was the, I believe it said Isambard MMD, a fully automated mining robot. For anybody not interested in the story, basically this is a giant out-of-control mining vehicle that is going on a beeline straight to our base. To kill it, quote-unquote kill it, we don't destroy it, we have to blow up the motors that are driving its wheels, and we do so by filling these oxygen tanks to the brim with methane, making them explode. Now, it's not as simple as that, because if you detonate the tanks before the robot's next to it, it won't actually get hurt. And that's where the control commands come into play, in that you can kind of tell your reaction to stop and wait just for the robot to get into position. Something else about defense assignments is that you have a very small area to build in, which is why they give you these storage tanks. Oh, it says right there, they basically act like 25 pipes in one. Usually this is because they don't want you building in where the boss is. Just, you know, it would seem silly if you were able to, say, put a reactor right here and have the thing drive over it without destroying it. But at the same time, if it did destroy it, that could possibly ruin your solution. So you're limited in your space, you have to be very smart with what you do. And can I not fit another... Oh, okay, so I really have to be careful with what I want to do. Now, I do remember how to fight this boss. He's not too terribly difficult. Can I fit one? Okay, there we go. No, I need to... Can I? Oh, I can drag it right through there. Okay. Ah. There we go. Okay. So, basically what this is going to do is, or I should say what I am going to do, is in each of these reactors I'm going to use one of the control commands to determine whether the methane goes to the next one in line or goes up into the tank. And in the case of this third guy, whether or not the methane goes into the tank at all. So, really quick, I don't need to use the bonders, so they're just going to be kind of there for show. I would like blue to call the methane in, grab it, and go this way. And then if I say that, yeah, so these are the control commands. You can change which control they respond to. Again, F1, F2, F3, and F4. Or which direction they point in. So in this case, I'm just going to change the direction because, there we go, because Control A is fine for this guy. So basically, if this thing is off, blue will try to come up here and send the methane out into the oxygen tank. If it's on, blue will instead try to come down here and try to send it out to the next reactor. And it's fine to have the paths reconverge like this, because if the Waldo's not holding on to anything, he'll just ignore the command, and likewise, if there's nothing for it to output, he just kind of ignores the command. Red's going to have a wonderful time doing nothing, but otherwise this design is just fine. Now, how about in this level, this reactor, I have red be the one doing the work. So let's say if control B is on, go down to omega. Otherwise, send the methane to the tank. And then for this last guy, it'll be blue's turn again. Grab the methane that comes in. Now here, what I'm going to do is actually move this arrow up. And then I'm going to put another arrow here. The reason why is because if I say Control C and have it point back, see how it's got this little loop effect now? Basically what this means is that if Control C is off, or I'm sorry, if Control C is on, blue will just bounce back and forth between these two tiles and never move forward to send the methane out. So in this way, I can kind of stall him. Actually, not even hopefully, I can stall him for as long as I want to wait for the robot to get into position. Alright. Okay. So I think the solution will work. I've actually got a little stopwatch thing on my phone open and running next to me so I can see that I'm running just a teeny bit long. But I do want to finish off this boss in this episode just because I kind of promised and teased it a bit. So let's hit speed 2 actually, because I remember that these bosses, the timescale is really weird. You really do not want to fight them in speed 1 unless you're trying to diagnose a problem, because they take a while. I mean, it's good because it's all... if they moved really fast at speed 1, they'd probably destroy your base before your reactors could even really spin up. So it is all timed, but you'll probably want to run at speed 2 to 3, usually. And let's turn on... Oops. Oh. That needs to be a drop. That needs to be a drop. That needs to be a drop. Why did I put all 3 of those at grabs? Or as grabs? That was weird. Okay. Let's try that again. Turn on all 3 commands to slow things down and wait for... Yeah, see, even at speed 2, just so you know, it does have sound effects, so you're probably hearing the microfusion generator in the thing, which apparently sounds exactly like a car engine. Alright. Let's go ahead and let pressure start to build in the first tank now. It does take quite a few molecules of methane to get these tanks to explode from what I remember. So, can I go up to speed 3? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, basically methane's being shuttled forward. Don't pass me, buddy. Don't pass me. Come on. Come on, little blue Waldo. Load that methane. This probably isn't the most exciting boss fight, but it's kind of a tutorial boss to get you used to these very radically different interpretation of how the game mechanics work. And boom! Okay, so we took out one of its wheels. and it's fine that we keep shuttling methane into here because it's just going to keep venting into the atmosphere. So now we need the second tank to blow. And as you can see down here, one of the spikes for the electric motors in this thing has dropped, so yep, the back set of wheels are no longer spinning. And as soon as this tank blows, I'm going to start priming the last tank. Yeah! Alright. Again, pretty easy boss, but his whole point is to introduce the manual controls. I don't know how many times I can really repeat myself, but apparently it's a lot. It's introducing the new way to think of how to play this game. Come on. Come on. You can do it. It's almost there. Oh, the tire's right next to it, and boom! Mining robots shut down. Our base is safe. Oh, and because the bosses usually have some kind of death animation, I'm just going to hit speed 4 to get through it as fast as possible. There we go. Yeah, there are... Sorry about that, just waiting for the victory jingle to end. There are no global leaderboards or statistics for the boss levels, probably because they're just so different, I guess. Also, apparently you're not allowed to record the solution to these levels either. Hope it's okay that I kind of am. Here's the next page's story, which happens after the boss fight. Now, if my memory serves correctly, there's something a little kinda disturbing on this next story page. Nothing really too bad, but the story to this game can dip into kind of darker, unsettling tones at some point. So if you're a little bit squeamish, you've been warned. So there we go. Yep, this line right here. So, you've been warned. Nothing more I can say. But with that, we're on our next planet, Alkanost, an introduction to sensing. We will get into that level next time, but for now, I hope you guys enjoyed that first boss fight as well as the first bonus level. And because I just remembered, yep, here are the challenges. We've got, yep, a dozen of them. It does kind of spoil the names of some of the future planets, but I guess that's not really that much of a spoiler. So anyway, those are all the challenges. There's a dozen of them. I may be completing them all across the course of this Let's Play. I don't know. I remember there's like one or two that are really, really annoying to try and get. But regardless, next time we'll be venturing off to Alkanost and figuring out what kind of sensing we'll be introduced to. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all had a great time, and I hope you all have a great day. I will see you all in the next episode, and farewell for now.